to mind, the first word. You don't edit it, you don't do anything, and then you pass it to the next person. They do the same thing. It works best in a group of people no larger than 12. I have seen it done in larger groups, but for some reason or another, it just gets too chaotic. Usually, almost always, there's a person in the group that will hear the list of characteristics and say, oh, that is so-and-so. They'll know who it is, which I always find that part. I think that's the most interesting part of the whole story. The second part of the story, which is really interesting, so you get the envelope with your name on it because all of the signatures are in the same size envelope, and then they're sorted, mixed up. And take the envelope, put it to your forehead, and write down the first thought, and then you pass it on to the next person, and everybody in the room makes a comment about themselves. But the one that I thought was the most interesting, I had a bridal shower, and one of the women in the group took and wrote kale. So I thought, well, that's kind of interesting, kale. But it was spelled K-A-L-E. That's what she wrote about herself. But her son's name is Kale, K-A-I-L. So it was interesting. Even she was very surprised by that. So that's the fun part of the game. Here's probably one of the most I don't know if it's the most enjoyable story, but it's the first story that comes to mind of where I did these type of readings. I did a party for the author Dean Koontz, and he gave me a watch to do a reading on, and the watch stopped. Oh, my gosh. And so what a great guy, what a great family, what a wonderful wife and everything else. And he asked me, I don't suppose psychics have insurance. This is a Rolex. And, of course, psychics don't have insurance for those sort of mishaps, but the watch worked out just fine. My favorite thing, of course, about doing psychometry is that it's always new, it's always fresh, and it's just as unique as the person who's in front of me. So that's our lesson for today on psychometrization. And I'm kind of hoping that TJ will join me again on the show. Let's see if I can.
Okay. I had two people from New York. Yeah, but they both fell off now. They were here, so we could have done some readings. But what I'm studying right now, let's see, I've done a lot with my Ascension Psychic Awakening classes. So if some of you guys do want to call in, we have a lot of listeners over 8 years from New York, but I didn't really know if they'd show up during the day because I usually do night readings. So Suzanne and I have been together since April, but we're organizing a whole new reality, folks, as most of you know, in 2020. And let me get Rich on here because Rich is a psychic and an intuitive artist, and he does artist in the moment. So let Rich introduce himself because he's helping me with some of our volunteer associations. Rich, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, TJ. How are you?
Oh, actually really good. Just trying to keep my mind focused right here for Suzanne. But would you like to help us build our future together with our psychic awakening classes and our mystics? Because in your mind's eye, when you see things and put them on paintings, I would like to assist our association and fundraisers with your help by getting other cities involved that we can get you transported to, either psychically with a postcard or something, or actually in location. So if you don't mind, I haven't had either one of you introduce yourselves, but why don't you see if you can do a proper introduction to this reality on 10/1/2020 and give a little background, and then let's go into what you've been doing with our elder of our association, Jack, and how you have come to be the infamous or famous, whichever way you want to go, artist, because your art is absolutely fantastic, and I'm still waiting on mine from Jack, hopefully for $100. But we'll see. And we'll see. I'm working on the negotiation. But he had to go sell a house. So in the meantime, give us an update on you and Uncle Jack and what we're trying to do here with the Ace Folklife Society, if you don't mind.
All right. Well, my name's Rich Flynn, and I'm known as the painter of the moment. I paint live weddings and events. I'm at richflynn.com, and I'm sitting out here with my uncle, art teacher, Jack Rutherford, here in Dana Point, California. And he started out teaching me 35, 40 years ago outside of Malaga, Spain. And now we're sitting on Malaga Street here in Dana Point. And so,
wow, that's weird. That's major weird.
Isn't that wild?
Wow, reality. Yeah, three-dimensional. Yeah, we make things happen for ourselves, don't we? Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so inside time and space. Keep going, though. I want to make sure we can all combine today on October 1st. It's a special day. Well, keep telling us about you and your story and how y'all wound up over the weekends painting by cities. But keep going. Tell us more about you and Jack, what we're doing today.
We were invited to go into Huntington Beach, California, to paint on the street right outside of Surf City Ale House, which is a new restaurant opening up on Main Street in Huntington Beach. And so it was me, Jack Rutherford, and Ski Ellis, who are on the streets, painting and attracting a crowd. And we're commissioned by the city to go out and sort of make something look like it's happening on the street. And I think it was a big success. They had us out there 2 weekends in a row, and we got to sit and talk to people and paint and show our work and just interact with people and make people just give them another angle for their day as they go when they walk the streets or to go have dinner or go get something to drink. It was a beautiful setting. We all had a really good time.
Wonderful. Well, I was hoping that Stan and Tara Fries of California with their entertainment production company, they're great organizers. They're very well known. They're beautiful people, folks, in California, and they're part of our association by agreement to help us. So maybe between them and then my little TJ Morris agency in Florida, we can get this going to help the rest of 2020, but mainly 2021, so we can start filling our calendar. But I'd like to know is if you and Jack, will you only go certain places, or are you willing to, right now, if you could just travel close by, I guess, due to COVID-19 and do other cities. But also I'd like to know if Stan and Tara can book Suzanne and you both at other cities with me, if that makes any sense.
Somebody pays our fare. Yeah, we're happy to be there. Here, say hi to Jack. He's going out to Malaga, Spain tomorrow.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, let's let Jack get some airtime here, if you don't mind. Jack, can you talk for a minute?
Oh, yeah, sure. Be happy to. So I have to head back to Spain now. So probably, fix up my house and all that sort of thing. And
okay, so speak up a little bit. Speak up a little bit. Use your radio voice. It's sort of like yelling across the banister to the street when you're talking on radio. Okay.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is on the balcony. So anyway, I'm looking forward to coming back here. But up to now, I won't be there next week. But I'm sure that Rich will. And it's really a good venue, and the people seem to enjoy it a great deal. They stop and they talk to us, and they're quite interested in seeing an artist's work. It's good for the Pueblo, and it's good for the restaurant behind us and all that. It generates quite a bit of interest.
It does.
So,
wonderful. Are you going to be flying? You're 90 years old, are you not? You're 90 years old, flying across the world back to Spain.
Exactly,
you're a jet setter, I understand.
Well, I guess I'm going to be. This is just another day. Tomorrow I take off in the
just another
in the morning.
Day. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But they take good care of you, so it's okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, who's going to help you? Apparently, you still walk and paint pretty good, and
absolutely.
Okay, all your plumbing still works. So, well, you're an excellent teacher, I guess. So, We look forward to having you back in the United States, Jack. And I was hoping maybe you'd stay with Suzanne and Rich so we can get this organization going for all our starving artists around the world, but especially here in the USA.
Well, that's no problem. Rich is going to be here, and he's a good spokesman for the group of artists that are down there, and so he should be able to give you all kinds of information about it. And
great.
He's probably going to continue it. Right now, tomorrow morning, I'm headed back to Spain for a while, so that's going to be a little break. I've got a house back there I have to sort out, and then we'll see where we go from there. I don't have much future projection to know what's going to happen next. That's that.
Well, I'm hoping you're going to get me back into painting, and I hope we can do it via Zoom meetings like everybody, even the court systems. I found out through my attorneys that they're using it for the court systems. They don't even have to show up in court anymore. So we can do Zoom paint by number, or I used to watch this gentleman on TV. I think his name was Wood. I forgot. But does anybody else in TV land remember how they would go on TV and show you how to paint? But I'm looking forward to learning your process, Jack. So hopefully with the Ace Folk Life, our art, culture, and education, we'll have plenty of people that maybe show up as volunteers on the streets to help, but we need to have a roster and get their names and email addresses and see if they want to participate in our online courses with you when you get back. And maybe Rich will keep a what do they call those, a clipboard, a paper, old paper and pen out on his folder table, where maybe Suzanne can attract attention doing readings, so they always like people doing readings. That helps get people alive and stirred up again, because we're going to need a lot of stirring up the people and getting them to pay attention to our starving artists. And well, I'm sure we're going to have musicians too. But Jack, how long did you live in Spain? Because lately Spain, since I've been talking to you, has been coming up a lot in my life.
Well, I've actually resided there for over 20 years. So that's a home base.
Yeah, Jack, you've been there since 78, 42 years.
42 years. Well, there you go. that's
wow, 42 years.
Yeah, a long time. And I have a nice place, and I taught a school there also. Let's see, I had a center, the Arts and Growth Center, which I'll probably be opening up in one way or the other again when I get back. And so
wonderful.
That's been my activity. So the school was very successful, and then that was because I've shown paintings all over Europe as a result of the activities. So it's been very good for me. I quite enjoyed it. And now
I hear the doggies.
Well, across the street, every time they walk by you, it's automatic. The dog goes off. No, it's true. It's true.
Talk shows live, folks. Well, this is Florida, and they're in California, and Jack's fixing to head to Spain, and hopefully get all his family cataloging what artwork he has left. Now, Jack, I was really concerned about getting your artwork back into the United States, because you were born in the United States, aren't you? Exactly, I want to make sure. So you're an American artist, and nowadays in our philanthropy and our setting up estates, I don't know how much it's going to cost to get all your artwork here, or if you're going to have to trust somebody in your family to number and catalog it and consign it, or if you can bring one of those black things maybe over. I don't know the sizes. Maybe you can bring the smaller ones packed up back with you. My daughter had a big black thing that zipped all the way around with a handle on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
You can get two or three of those.
Actually, it's better in a way, because I have a lot of work stored in La Manzanilla. And that's where I was living before I came here to Dana Point. And so I have with a fellow artist there, a woman by the name of Mazinka, who has quite a number of my work stored with her right now in La Manzanilla.
You know, the museums may give an auction house with a minimum bid if they don't make it like a silent auction, and you can have all of them displayed with your family if a family has a house big enough, or